All right, it's August 15th, and the last couple days have been pretty busy around here as far as getting some more material. Yesterday, we got all our trusses in. My dad and I were able to get those unloaded. We unloaded some right off the truck, and then the last bundle, they rolled off into the road, and we drug them up into the property, but got those this morning. Got all our windows delivered, so that's exciting. And then yesterday, I got some of these posts laid out. I got these 7 laid out. I got them cut down to my length. And I got my board pulled out. That's where the truss will sit. And then I got the other side laid out. I still have to cut all those. But here in about a half hour, we're going to pour the last 10 footings for the porch. So then all the concrete will be poured for the house. On my end. The rest of it, the floor and all that, I'm gonna contract out. I just can't do that by myself. So but yeah, it's moving along pretty good. Hopefully by tomorrow we'll have some walls up and we'll be framing. But just to show you how I marked these, I set my laser level to my finished floor height, and I just knew where I wanted that based off building my storm shelter. I know where I want my finished floor to be, and it's going to be the same in the garage and the house. So I know I want to be up. I know I want my post to be down 6 3/4 inches from the finished floor. So then I went around to each footing and put my laser level on there to see how much I was off from there. This one I was dead on. As you can see, I got that one marked 0. This one right here, I needed to be up 3/8, so I measured up 6 3/4 and then an additional 3/8, and then that's where I start. That's where my finished floor is going to be. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm building my walls on the ground. If you're putting them up, you can snap string lines and all that, but I need to know where my finished floor is going to be on my post, so I can make sure I have a full 18 feet from finished floor to finished ceiling, because that's what I drew my plans up for. So once I get those marked on and everything, I can figure out my measurements on the rest of my post, and then I'm going to put all my girts on the ground except for the bottom one. So I'm going to be working on that today after we get this concrete poured, but hopefully by Saturday I will have some walls up, but not sure. Hopefully gonna be lifting my walls up with this. I made this to fit in the backhoe bucket and the skid steer bucket. I got a chain here, I can adjust it for different lifting points. You can see there's different holes I cut, so I can move that chain, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be using that one out there for all this. All right, so now that I got all my footings figured out, whether I'm high or low, I'm going to transfer that mark onto my post. So I got my finished floor marked on my post, so that's where the finished floor is going to be. Then I have a board that's 18 feet long, and basically I call this a template. Some people call it a storyboard. It's just a template. So I know that from this, 18 feet is the height of to the bottom of my trusses that I need. So I'm going to go up there. I'm going to mark that. That's the bottom of the truss. And then I know I have a 2-foot heel at the edge of the building. So I'm gonna measure up 2 feet and make a mark, and that's where I'll cut my post off at. And then this board will come out, and I'll cut that down here, and that's where the truss will sit. And then that truss will be sandwiched in between all this. This is what it looks like when it's finished. So it's got a nice spot for that truss to sit. So we got all of the girts marked on this 2x4. So we'll take this around to each post, line it up at the bottom, and then I can transfer those marks onto each post, and then they'll all be the same, exactly the same. So that eliminates human error when you're measuring each one individually. So that's what we're going to do right now. All right, I got one wall up, and it looks a lot bigger up than it does on the ground. It's an 18-foot sidewall. It was our first one, so there were some challenges there, but we got it. Got it all braced up. See, you got braces coming off each post. Because I'm not going to get this, doing this by myself, it's going to take me a lot longer, so it's going to be freestanding for a while. I'm going to try to get this other end, part of that wall up, and this corner in, so then I can cross brace it. But got these bolts in. Those are through bolts, a couple lags on each side, and that really strengthens it up. I mean, it's solid. So I think the process we got is pretty good. I think we'll get better as we go. But I'm going to try to get these two posts laid out right here, this section of that wall, and then I'll stand that wall up, and then I can put this corner one in, and then I can put some corner bracing, and then I think that'll really strengthen it up. So that's what I'm going to work on now. I'm going to try to get this little 16-foot section done. All right, guys, I had a pretty good day today. My dad came up to help me, and we got our first wall up. Definitely a learning process. It's the first time I've ever raised a building of this height in this way. I've done a lot of walls, like conventional stick framing, but nothing 18 foot on a pole barn, raising it with a boom after building it on the ground, and it worked pretty good once we got the hang of it. The biggest problem we have is we got this hill over here, and the backhoe wants to roll down, so it makes it a little difficult, but we managed, and I tell you what, everything is lining up perfect so far. If the rest of the framing goes like this, I will be super happy, because everything's just lining up perfect, and it makes me feel good, like maybe I did a decent job when I laid this out. So it always makes your job a lot easier when you lay something out the right way the first time. So I got most of that wall. I got one more corner pole for that wall to put up, and I put up 2 poles on this wall just to help strengthen that. And then I got bracing off of every pole just to help it if it gets windy. And I got my bottom girt on, which is a 2x12 green treat. And then I'm going to do some special flashing on that. I'll show you that detail to keep water and rodents and stuff like that out from underneath my house and my slab. So it was a good day. I got about a half a day to work tomorrow, and then I got all next week. And I got a buddy contacted me today that I used to work with, and he said, man, I want to come out and help you. I'm going to take a day off work, so that's pretty cool that he's going to do that. So I'm going to get as much stuff laid out and prepared as I can, so Tuesday I can have a big day, but pretty exciting. All right, I'm laying out this opposite sidewall that's going to carry the trusses, and I'm going to quickly show you how I square it on the ground. So I got all my brackets. I got the post sitting in the end of the brackets, and based on how much these footings are high or low, I got all these posts level across the bottom. And how I did that is off my string line. So I want to make sure that all of my posts are even across the bottom. So I've got that done. The next thing is I'm going to come to this first post, and I'm going to measure from the center of the post over to my end wall string. And I'm going to get a measurement. That's at the bottom. Come down here, hook it up in the middle of the post, come out to my end wall, and I get just under 98.5. Basically it's 98 and 7/16. So then I'm going to take that and I'm going to come to the top of my post, going to hook on, and that measurement up here should be the same if I'm square. And I'm 98 and 7/16. So I know that my first post is square. I've got it square with all the other posts on the side wall, and now I have the entire post square with my end wall string. That's why these string lines are so important. Now that I got that first one done, I can work my way all the way across doing the same thing. So I'll go to the second post, measure from the center to the center, and then transfer that mark up top, and I'll work my way all the way across, and then I know my posts are all square and plumb. So when I lift them, they're going to match up to those over there, and they're going to be very close to level, and I'll have to do very little movement if my math was right. So that's how I do it. So I'm just going to keep working my way across, measuring from center post to the bottom, and then transferring that measurement up to the top. And then I can start nailing my boards in. All right, so you can see I measured from center of the second post to the center of the first post, got my measurement, and I came up, measured from the top of the center of the second post to the top of the center of the first post, and match that measurement. Now those two should be square, but as I work my way across, I'll keep checking each post to make sure it's still square to my end wall string. So I'm just going to continue all the way across now. I'm out here working by myself today, and I got this wall all laid out and kind of at a stopping point, but yet I have four or 5 hours left in the day. So I'm going to attempt to lift part of this wall by myself. I'm just going to do 2 columns, so we'll see how it goes. I guess I can always set it back down if I can't get it. All right, well, I got that wall up, and then I got so excited I forgot to start the camera. So I'm going to do another section here and keep the camera running this time. It was tough, but got her done, and hopefully I can get the rest of this wall up today by myself, so we'll see. All right, well, I'm wrapping it up. It's Saturday, and this is going to be part 1, the end of part 1 for framing. So it's a pretty good start for 2 days. I mean, I'm not putting in a full day today, but my family was gone, so they're going to be back here in about an hour, so I need to get home. But went pretty good. Got these braced up pretty good, I think, so they should stand through the weekend. And I would think by the end of Tuesday I should have this the house part framed up. I won't have the windows done, but I should have the most of the framing done by middle of next week for the house. So I'm Not sure how I'm gonna get those trusses up there yet. I'm not sure if my boom will go high enough. I'm gonna have to check and see. If not, I'm gonna have to rent something, so we'll see. Went pretty good. So next Monday, I'll tie this portion in. I got one section there, and 1, 2, 3, basically 4 sections there and one there that I need to finish. I'm gonna leave this corner open because I think I can get through there with my backhoe over these footings that don't have brackets on them, if I can reach to get the trusses up. So